Episode 7 of NES Generation.
Today we're going to be looking at the 7th edition of Nintendo Power, which features Mega Man 2 on the cover.
In addition to Mega Man 2, we'll be taking a look at Dragon Warrior and the Super Mario Bros. 2 tip book included in this issue. Let's jump right in. First game that Laurel tried out today was Mega Man 2. What do you think about Mega Man 2, Laurel?
I thought it was a pretty great game, although it was very difficult. The first and most noticeable thing that I liked about the game is that you can obviously choose the different order of playthroughs, because there's the 8 different mini-bosses that you have to fight before you can fight the main boss, and you can go in any order with the mini-bosses.
Yep, that was probably the key theme of the Mega Man games, was sort of that the different bosses in their different worlds and how that changed the playing order in that you could use the different weapons from defeating each one against the other bosses. So that actually even added a lot of the replayability to the series, in that you could try playing through in different orders to see which weapons worked against the different enemies. But of course, like in modern games, you're just going to look online and get the best order and play through. And I think that's probably what a lot of people, and even when I've gone back to play it recently, you know, I just look online like, okay, what's the best order, and sort of follow that. So we can talk about some of the different weapons.
Right.
So they're like Metal Man gives you I think it's the cut blades. Which ones did you see? You said to be one of them at least?
I think that I got the time stop one from Flash Man. Mm-hmm. Pretty sure that was the name.
Yeah, so that's key is sort of figuring out the weaknesses of the different bosses and what order to get those in. So overall, I'd say it's a pretty difficult game. It sounds like you kind of saw that. This was definitely one of those ones that was kind of known for being NES hard. Although you could definitely, once you got some of the patterns down and learned the boss order and things, it definitely made it more manageable. The music is pretty cool. Yeah. It's definitely has a iconic theme. And actually, on that note, I thought I would mention there was recently, I think, a while back, there was a band, Bit Brigade, that actually played. I think they've done some other games too, but they played. They had a person live playing Mega Man 2, and where the band was playing the songs from each of the levels and stuff as he was playing through. So that was pretty cool. Yeah. And we'll put a link in the description to that if you guys want to check that out. So also this is the box art. we both looked at that. That's so Mega Man 2 has a little bit better than Mega Man 1, which is atrocious. Sort of known as like one of the awful box arts. And then even number 2 is like, it's almost, you wonder if they just kind of described the character over the phone to somebody who was the artist and said he's blue and he has a gun. And
that's all we're gonna tell you about him.
So so it was kind of comical. So and then of course so you play through the 8 mini bosses, and then there's the final Dr. Wily, which you didn't get to in this playthrough, but that's definitely the completion of the game.
Yeah, I only fought Metal Man and Flash Man.
Okay, and I think I've beaten this before, but it's been years since I played through the whole thing, so I played it a couple times recently, but never long enough to really get super far into it. Anything else you wanted to add about Mega Man 2?
Not that I can think of, but it's pretty cool.
So we thought we'd try something a little bit different. We're going to try our fancy crane camera rig here to see if we can show off just a couple of cool features that were in this issue of Nintendo Power. So there's a Super Mario Bros. 2 tip book in the center. This was like a common thing in the Nintendo Powers. They would have often inserts in the middle, or the posters. So this one has a Fax Xanadu on the back, and looks like a RoboCop. I'm not going to take it out of the magazine, but thought we'd show it in place here. So Laura, you want to flip through? So we've got Super Mario Brothers 2 Inside Out.
And then if I can flip it, there's the how to use the book, because sometimes you don't know how to flip pages.
Mm-hmm.
And for worlds 1 through 4.
Yeah, we've got some cool artwork there.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got in here. Okay. So yeah, this was kind of an earlier version of nowadays they have all the tip guidebooks and things that people will buy to go through the game. So this
Zelda Dungeon.
This was kind of a cool way to have a detailed view into a game that was very popular at the time. Yeah. So they've got a lot of little tricks and tips on different things, going through the levels, where things are.
Warns you of certain enemies.
Yeah. And this is similar to what they did in just a regular issue, but it's kind of more in-depth than they generally did, because they can devote more pages in this tip book to cover a little bit more of the game. Yeah. A lot of these games, they actually had to set up or pretty much all of them, to make these magazines, they would actually have to photograph TV screens. So when somebody was playing, they would, have the TV screen, take a photo, have them move forward, take another photo, move it forward, take a photo, and because they didn't have good ways to get a photo collage of all the levels and stuff. And it's not like they were just going into the game and just pulling out the digital assets. They were actually just photographing it on the screen. So that's kind of a cool little tidbit. Well, I think that is kind of a good little overview of the tip book that was included, just so people can kind of see what it was like. And obviously they're not going to be able to get all the details from us just flipping through it here, but it's kind of... Somebody might have some nostalgia of remembering getting that as a kid and using it to beat Super Mario Brothers 2. Yeah. Dragon Warrior for the Nintendo Entertainment System. One of the first RPGs that were promoted by Nintendo. There was a kind of a big push in Japan, and they were very popular over there. So they wanted to get Americans excited about role-playing games. And there was the different style. There was, at some point you'll see some of the American style versus Japanese style. There was Ultima, the names are escaping me. But anyway, there was a lot more kind of dungeon crawlery ones in the American style ones, where you're looking into a room and going forward, and whereas the Japanese ones tended to have more the kind of story-driven, going in towns and things. One of the key things then about this game was part of, it was also, you could buy it, but it was a part of a big Nintendo promotion, because they wanted to get Americans excited about role-playing games. So they offered a free game if you subscribed to Nintendo Power. So that's how I got Dragon Warrior originally, was in that offer. What did you think about Dragon Warrior? I thought it was a pretty fun game. It was kind of time-consuming, but in some games it takes a while to get started because you're talking to everyone and trying to stock up on supplies and stuff. Mm-hmm. But some other games kind of are tedious about it, and they don't disguise it very well. But this one, I kind of looked over while I was recording, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm already at 7 minutes, and I'm not even outside. So that was pretty well done. So there's a lot of backstory and introducing the mechanics, a lot of kind of going through menus and things to figure out where things are and how to interact with the world. A lot of talking to learn where things are. Yeah. You had mentioned how it uses kind of the Old English style, which kind of brings you into the world of the game, and so everyone's not saying dude and bro and so it gives you more of that feel of being in a medieval town. Yeah, the funniest thing about that, because at the end, when you die,
instead of a classic game over scream, it just lists "Thou art dead" in the chat log, and I laughed pretty hard about that.
Yeah. So you're definitely going through the game and leveling up.
Yeah.
There's, hit points and all the kind of standard things. But this was, kind of one of the earlier ones in that style, at least that I played. I'd have to go back and kind of look at the timeline of, when each game came out and what things were influenced. This was definitely, for me, one of the first turn-based battle games that I ever played. Have you played, I'm trying to think of, you played Pokemon? Pokemon, probably.
I don't actually think that I've played through any of the Pokemon games, but I've definitely played, a few of them.
Yeah, so it has that same style of picking your different attacks.
Yeah.
But I definitely was fairly impressed with this one back in the day. That kind of has the cool first-person perspective when you're battling.
Right.
So then there's the standard, collecting items.
Yeah.
You're getting gold to go back to the town to buy items, upgrading your weapons. There's a whole magic system.
Right, I didn't get into that, but it seemed pretty, interesting.
There's a whole intricate story of the Dragon Lord, and you're trying to rescue the princess, kind of that standard evil and
RPG.
Yeah, kind of a standard-y story.
Yeah.
But this did go into a whole series of Dragon Warrior games. I think it's definitely one of my favorites from growing up. Thanks for watching this episode of NES Generation.
If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe.